All right, you are on the platform, and we have had, and we are having a very, very busy morning. Tons of texts coming in, a flurry of phone calls, and issues I think that really matter to you people, really matter to you, which is fantastic, and really a victory on the issue of protecting women in sport, in non-elite sport. And, of course, we've had that terrible thing at the Olympics with that bloke from Algeria beating the snot out of women and getting a gold medal that he didn't deserve. New Zealand, of course, has played that game at the elite level with Lauren Hubbard, but changes in the wind. Change has been made this morning, and many of you would seem to support those changes. I want to talk now about something that certainly affects most of us. And I think, look, individually, by dollar might not be a big issue, but when you put it all together, as our next guest and his organisation have, we're talking millions. We're talking millions. We're talking about supermarket prices and mispricing in supermarkets. I only go to the supermarket once a month. But most people go at least once a week, and it's where they get all the goods they need to sustain their and their families' lives. But are they always getting what they think they are at the price they think they are? We're joined now by Jon Duffy, the CEO of Consumer New Zealand. Jon, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Morning, Sean.
All right. So what is the problem with some supermarket prices?
Well, there's kind of two main issues. Firstly, pricing inaccuracies. So this is the simple one to get your head around. This is where the price on the shelf is different from the price you charged at the till. So
what?
the very basics of running a retail outlet, right? Get the price on the shelf the same as the price.
Because you see it, there's that little black and white thing that says, $2.99, or Jesus, you wouldn't get much for $2.99 now. So you're saying there are instances where you pick it up, and then when it gets scanned at the beep, 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 it actually a different price goes through.
Yes, and that's happening across multiple supermarkets across New Zealand. So further to the point you made in your intro, that all adds up, right? So it might just be 50 cents on your baked beans that are overcharged, or even 5 cents. But if everyone buying baked beans in that brand's supermarkets across hundreds of supermarkets across the country is charged an extra 5 cents, well, that adds up over a day, and if that special or that price mistake runs for a week.
Well, we're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars, aren't we?
Well, the Grocery Commissioner at the Commerce Commission has estimated this is likely to be costing New Zealanders tens of millions of dollars a year.
Wow.
And that's why we've got a little bit antsy about it. And so we're running a campaign at the moment, which is basically saying the Commerce Commission has the Fair Trading Act, this misrepresenting the price of an item, which what this is an offence under the Fair Trading Act. The Commerce Commission has taken multiple supermarkets to court and successfully prosecuted them over the years, but the fines that the court is able to hand down under the Fair Trading Act are basically a couple of hours operating revenue at a large pack and save. So they're just not enough to deter.
Get it back by slapping 5 cents on a can of baked beans. Jon, can I ask you though, are these genuine errors because of the volume of products and everything in sales, or are supermarkets doing this deliberately?
Well, the supermarkets certainly argue, and they definitely did in the sentencing submissions they made the last time a pack and save was sentenced for this type of offending, that they are large-scale businesses and that naturally errors will creep in when you're dealing with thousands of stock-keeping items across a supermarket. And at some level you go, yeah, okay, you're a big business, mistakes will happen. But the prevalence of these mistakes across supermarkets across the country suggests that they're not actually investing in the technology that would stop this happening. I mean, in 2025, the digital technology exists to have the price on the shelf match the price in your database that you're charging
absolutely
customers at the till. There really is no excuse. And if you take that argument to its natural extension, you go, Well, any company that's large should get away with a certain degree of illegal
Yeah,
behaviour.
yeah,
because
I
they're
get.
big,
I
you
can
know?
see. I can see how that you wouldn't apply that argument in other industries. That's right. That's
No,
right. It's
certainly. I
like
mean,
if
if
you
you're
go
a,
to
you're
buy
a,
a car and it was like $3,000 more than it said on the sticker on the window. You wouldn't stand for that, would you?
or you say, I don't know, X um, oil drilling companies really big, so they should be able to
Do we know
um,
if it ever
police
works the other
police
way,
certain
John?
amount of.
They charge less than it says on the shelf. Does that ever happen?
Yes, there will be overs and unders, right? And so you would think that supermarkets would have some incentive to stop that leakage. Frankly, consumers really only notice it when they've been overcharged for an item rather than undercharged, and that's really what we're worrying about here. Consumers shouldn't have to draw a business's attention to the fact that their systems aren't up to scratch. And unfortunately, that's kind of the only lever that consumers have at the moment, and it's drawing attention to a mistake. Woolworths and recently some foodstuff supermarkets have refund policies where they'll give you the item for free if you've purchased it, taken it home. So they'll give you a refund for the item, so you get it for free basically. But of course, you've got to get back in the car, drive back to the supermarket.
Yeah.
You've got to have kept your receipt.
And look, the
you
other
also
thing
need to have
is,
been paying.
my life is too short, and I got to admit, I'm probably not a typical consumer. I don't even look at the prices. I just think it'll be about this much for whatever I throw in the trolley when I do deem to go to a supermarket, and I hate them. But the idea of having to cross-check your entire receipt to make sure that it was the price that it said on the shelf, my God, I can't think of anything more, coma-inducing.
Well, that's about right. So most people won't do that, which means the supermarkets can rely on the fact that most people aren't picking this stuff up. Most people aren't reporting it to Consumer NZ or the Commerce Commission. Therefore, they can get away with the status quo, and this has been the way it has been for many, many years. So you asked at the start, what are the two types of offending that we're seeing? That's the simplest one. That's just you've got the price wrong. Then we have misleading promotional activity. So that's where you might have a multi-buy. So get a twin pack of biscuits, or two avocados for $3. And the pricing might say $1.50 each on this multi-buy special. But when you look at the individual price, it's $1 per avocado. So you're actually paying more if you buy the twin pack of biscuits or the two avocados. And there's other types of misleading practices where you have something described as an everyday low price. Well, it's dressed up like a special, but the supermarkets maintain that that's not actually something that's on special. They're just telling you
that's
that
an
the price
everyday
is
low price, John. Every day.
Price might.
So it's not
special.
special.
The price might be. Well, you can make that argument, but it could have been more expensive last week.
Right.
So it'll have big red branding saying everyday low price, but it might be more expensive than it was last week.
And I guess for consumers, the supermarkets are the place where most the largest volume of consumer transactions take place in any country.